Coast?
Yeah, so when you put all of the information together, and we're just talking about the capital cities here at the moment, it's clear that the variables and the economics and the demand supply story points towards a very, very strong Perth market. And we see that on the ground as well through our team buying over there. I do suspect. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw double-digit growth in Perth market again, and I think that is going to be led by the bottom quartile. So any sort of thing, property prices, that baseline median price in Perth is going to continue to grow strongly, and I think those markets that are in that sort of 400 to 600,000 range are going to be the best performers in that particular market. In terms of the Adelaide market, the perennial performer at the moment, it's had a really nice solid run. This is about a sustained growth story that's happening in Adelaide, and on the back of a pretty well-run economy and things going okay in that particular state. So Adelaide it's definitely got some upside in it. South East Queensland, so we're not just talking about Brisbane, we're also talking about moving down into the Gold Coast and also into the Sunshine Coast.
Pretty much Noosa to the border.
Yep, right up to the border there in terms of what that's going to look like. So we definitely see those markets starting to show some further growth stories over the course of 2024. Darwin, I mentioned earlier. I do think that at the end of this year and into the new year, people will start looking at Darwin. If they're looking for a speculative investment in the short term, I'm not saying go to Darwin.
Experienced investors only apply.
Yes, and also you've got to be mindful that those types of markets like Darwin and Hobart will spike and then basically do nothing for a decade. So just be mindful of that. I think the commuter belt is also showing signs, pushing people into those affordability regions. So your driver commutes of 1 to 1.5 hours into big capital cities. And if you only have to go into the city once or twice a week or whatever under these new hybrid work arrangements, that will drive some, those affordable regions in that sort of, depending on which state and territory in, but in some cases it's probably the 400 to 500 range. But in the bigger city and the bigger states where property is more expensive, you're talking about sort of 600 to 750 price range for those particular markets as well, in terms of what that looks like. You're going to see markets like Townsville and some of those sort of more, larger regional towns will get a look in from some investors. They've been really, underperformers over the last few years. So I think, again, you'll start to see a little bit more of that sort of investor-driven story as opposed to we like the fundamentals being owner-occupied-driven story. But, they will move those markets if more and more of investors get into there. Obviously, the markets that we haven't mentioned, I want to spend a little